Hey, good morning or good afternoon, I guess. Here we are in Colorado Springs right now at McCloskey Motors Truck Town, broadcasting live. Woo! Yeah, we're starting back here. You can kind of see there's Jamie. We're starting off in our BDC. Little Anthony, hi. Little Anthony, right? Brittany over there. Hi, Brittany. Now, so today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to walk next door. We're at our new facility here. This is our BDC. I'm not mic'd up at the moment, but I'm going to walk next door for anybody that's tuning in and watching. We got lots of cool cars, 4,000 for your trade. Making magic happen on Tuesday, and shouldn't have my grumpy face. So I am going to walk in here. This is our kind of new showroom, if you will. I'm going to try and set this up on a shelf, and then I wanted to talk about, it's my Facebook Live video. So let me set this up a little bit here so that it won't tip. Now, so what I'd like to talk about, and we're going to talk about this from, so this is my McCloskey Motors video. I'm on day 12 for my personal video. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about, that I wanted to talk about, and we want to talk about from McCloskey Motors, we've had a lot of people ask about how the sales process works. And so today I decided I would talk about the McCloskey Motors sales process, both from a salesperson standpoint as well as the consumer standpoint. So one of the things, any automotive sales organization anywhere has some sort of process. So if you're a consumer tuning in right now on the McCloskey Motors webpage or the McCloskey Motors Facebook page, as we're talking about the sales process, understand that a automotive sales process is designed to help navigate both the salesperson and the consumer through an effective and efficient sales process in buying a car. So I'm going to look. We will have some comments coming up and so forth, but I just want to be able to be back here long enough because I talk with my hands. So any sales process, for it to be an effective sales process, is designed to help the consumer navigate through buying a car successfully, and it's designed to help the salesperson have the consumer navigate through buying a vehicle. So there's 5 steps to the sales process, and the reason we have 5 steps is it's really, really easy to remember. So number 1, and I'm just going to roll through it really, really quickly here. Number 1 is the greeting. You know, we want to have the greeting and reception of the customer coming onto the lot. Number 2 is a wants and needs evaluation. So what does the consumer want and what will they likely need in a vehicle? Number 3, the third step, is the presentation. Number 4 is a demonstration drive, so you know what you're getting. And step number 5 is to then sell the vehicle, right, to close the deal together. And then we have one rule. So at McCloskey Motors, we have a 5-step process, and the one rule is that we want to follow up with our customers to make sure that they had a really positive experience, an outstanding experience, and that everything is going well with the vehicle. So I'm going to slow down a little bit. I want to look at any of the comments. I don't have a whole lot of comments going through there just yet. But if you have, as we're on this live video, if you have questions from a consumer side, from a salesperson side, from a sales management side, from anywhere that you're coming from, please by all means post your questions. I'll try and zoom in on the camera with my eyes and make sure and answer those. So like I said, I'm going to recap that one more time. It's a 5-step sales process and one rule. The 5 steps are the greeting, the wants and needs evaluation, the presentation of the vehicle, the demonstration drive of the vehicle, and then selling the vehicle, closing the deal together. And when we say together, it's closing the deal together both from the consumer side and from the salesperson side. And then the one rule is to follow them up. So let's slow down and talk about this in maybe 5-10 minutes here. I won't make it an extremely lengthy video. I could go all day on this kind of stuff. Number 1, when we're talking about the greeting of the customer, we teach our sales consultants to, we don't want to be overly aggressive. We don't want the salesperson to come right out and greet you at the side of the car. But we do want the salesperson to be accommodating with the consumer. So when the consumer gets here, we want them to come right up, greet the customer. Hi, welcome to McCloskey Motors. My name's Mike. And invite them in a comfortable manner into the reception of our dealership, by by having them come in to start their shopping process. We want it to be professional. We want to make eye contact. We want to make sure the sales consultant is smiling at you. It's not to, from the consumer side, it's not to attack the consumer or like, oh, hey, they're here to buy a car, so we jokingly, I've had people come in before, and jokingly they'll come in to buy a car, and we go, get them, right? And usually people soften up a little bit at that, and know that it's all in good fun. The reality, though, is we do want to have a warm reception of the customer when they get here. So it should be the same greeting every time with every customer. Welcome to McCloskey Motors. My name is Mike or Bill or Samantha. My name's not Samantha, but you understand what I'm saying. What specifically brings you into the dealership today? And it's simply designed to be a conversation starter with the consumer so that that person can start establishing rapport and start determining what it is to help both the salesperson and the consumer navigate through the sales process. The second part, number 2 in our process, is the wants and needs evaluation. There's 6 steps to the wants and needs evaluation. And I'm not going to get deep into this today, but it is something that we want to cover with all customers when they come into the dealership. In most cases, prior to looking at the vehicle, because consumers will come in, if you're a customer out there in Facebook Live land, you'll come in and oftentimes you have an idea of what you think you want. And understand, you may be looking at a vehicle every 3, 4, or 5 years, and we're helping consumers navigate that process most every day. And so one of the things that we want to do is slow down and ask some proper questions to make sure that we're sharing and showing the right vehicle. And so what we have is a 6-step qualification or wants and needs evaluation process. What that includes is, number 1, what car do they want to buy, right? I know it may seem silly. We've all had, if you're on the sales consultant side, or especially the sales management side, you've had somebody come back to the desk and we say, okay, well, hey, what does the customer want to purchase? And we go, gosh, I don't know, I forgot to ask them. And it may seem silly, but it's very simple. You need to know what do they have in mind, and not necessarily a specific vehicle. All right, hopefully we're still there. So it may not be a specific vehicle, but what do they have in mind in general? What do they need in a vehicle? 2-door, 4-door, 5-speed, automatic, what colors, those kind of deals. So what do they want to buy? The second thing is, what do they want to sell us? And I'm on the qualification part, right? I'm on the wants and needs portion. What do they want to sell us? What are they trading? The third piece in that wants and needs evaluation is, where do they live and for how long? Where are they working for how long, right? Now here's the big one, and this works for both salespeople and consumers. What's their budget? What do they want to consider spending? And that's, what do they anticipate writing the check for each month? What do they want to spend overall? It is one of those things that kind of early on in the conversation, in our opinion, we want to be able to have that discussion so that we're able to help the consumer through and find the right vehicle for them. Or at least try to steer them to the right vehicle for them. So, and then the last thing, and in our wants and needs portion, is to simply ask the customer, look, if we were able to accomplish all those things, would you be prepared to do business right now? So, that's just step 2 of the process. So we had step 1 was the greeting, step 2 is the wants and needs evaluation. Step 3, and I'm going to see if we have any. Follow the steps, absolutely. Step 3 in our portion of the process here at McCloskey Motors is to present the vehicle, which many people, if you're an automotive, it's the walk around. If you're not an automotive, if you're in any sort of retail sales, that presentation, if it's Cutco knives, it's how the knives work. If it's the vacuum salesperson, how the vacuum works. If you're walking into Best Buy and you want to look for a TV, it's how well what quality is the picture on the television, right? That's the presentation portion, is that we want to be able to present the product, do a really quality walk around. And again, that part of our process is broken into steps as well. So then the fourth step of the McCloskey Motors sales process, the fourth step of our sales process is to demo the car. In other words, you get in the car, provided the consumer, when you're shopping, has a valid driver's license. You get in the car and you go test drive it. And it may seem really simple, but that's one of the things that sometimes people miss. Just go test drive the car. Take it around the block. Take it to the house and back. Take it to the customer's home in their garage and make sure that it actually, fits and that it works for them. Take it to show their spouse if the spouse isn't with them. And those things can be really, really valuable. And, there's no ulterior motive. It's just an opportunity to experience and the vehicle that you're looking at and considering purchasing. The fifth step is to sell the car. And one thing, regardless of which side you're on, if you're on the salesperson side, if you're on the customer side, if you're on the sales manager side, if you're in an automotive dealership, or if you're out of the automotive dealership, the thing you want to consider is hopefully at some point, right, hopefully most everybody that is involved in that transaction has the same end game. They have the same goal, right? The customer came in and they have a desire to research and hopefully at the end of it to buy a car. The salesperson came in that morning to be able to provide good service to the customer and then hopefully to sell a car. So everybody has the same goal. We want to buy a car, we want to sell a car, right? And at the end of the day, we hope that those two goals meet. The prices and the payments and all those things come together at the end of the sales process, and we're able to finalize financing and payments and all of the other things that come along with finalizing an automotive purchase. So in short, that's I don't know, probably about a 10-minute video. That is the McCloskey Motors sales process in a nutshell, right? Greeting, wants and needs evaluation, presentation of the product, demo the car, and then sell the car, right? And in most cases, you have customers that want to receive that quality of efficient service. They want to come in, they want to be greeted by a salesperson, somebody that's a professional, somebody that cares about them, right? Most people will slow down and spend a little bit of time and say, okay, well, I'm willing to share that with you. What did I consider buying? What's my trade about? And share that information, and then go look at a car, go drive a car, and then hopefully, coming to buy a car at many auto dealerships is probably similar to going to the dentist. One of my people went to the dentist this afternoon. How fun was that, right? It's probably similar to going to the dentist. People don't necessarily, in general, in mass, they don't look forward to saying, hey, I get to go to the car dealership and spend my whole afternoon. And the reality is buying a car does take some time. So you need to consider that also. I think a lot of times automotive dealerships, commercials, all the things, we want to be efficient and streamlined as much as we can with a sales process, but there's a lot of automotive dealerships even that say, hey, we'll get you in and out within an hour. I personally, and this is just my opinion, our opinion, I think an hour sometimes can give you an unrealistic sense of what it really takes to buy a car. There's time, you have to be able to flow with the customer and say, well, maybe the customer wants to take an hour-long test drive to make sure that car is going to fit their lifestyle. If that's the case, there's no way that all of the other things that go into it, having a 10, 15, 20-minute real conversation with an individual to make sure that you're serving them well and providing them a good quality product and the right product, that's a good 10, 15, 20 minutes in itself. And then to go test drive is another 15, 20 minutes, half hour maybe. I don't know specifically. That time is so fluid and it changes. And then once you've come back and you said, hey, I like the car, if you're talking about it from a customer standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, and they come back and they say, hey, I really like the car. Yeah, Mike, I want to buy it. Then there's, for goodness sake, state and federal paperwork and all kinds of other stuff that goes into that. And sometimes that can take some time in itself. Just filling everything out because we want it to be accurate. And even though it may take a little more time right now, better to do it once correctly and get it done right than it is to have to do it multiple times because something isn't correct. So I'm just going to kind of glance through here. Do we have some questions, anyone? Let's see. Let's work together to achieve the goal. Yes, absolutely. Not a whole lot of questions. So just kind of an informational session. So from us at McCloskey Motors and from me, Mike Phillips, that's it, in a nutshell, that's our process. Run one more time. We've got greeting, wants and needs evaluation, presentation, demo, close the car deal, right? Sell a car together, us and the consumer. And then our one rule is follow-up. We want to follow up the consumer. Make sure that they had a good experience. Make sure that it was everything they hoped and dreamed it would be. make sure that the car is running well. You know, for us, we do all pre-owned vehicles, or we do all used cars, depending on what your verbiage and terminology is. We do go through and we do a good inspection on the vehicles. We do a 110-point inspection on our vehicles and make sure that everything that the product is a good product, right? So if there's no other questions, that's going to conclude our Facebook Live for us today here at McCloskey Motors. And certainly if you have any questions, please, by all means, you can shoot us a message right here on Facebook. You can leave a message in the comments that are going to be down below here, or please feel free to give us a call at 719-434-4454. You can ask for me. My name is Mike Phillips, or most anybody that fields the phone. They're all awesome. You know, you saw Anthony and Brittany here a little bit ago. We've got a whole crew of people that are on the phones, and they are here to be of service to you. And they're just a really awesome group. So thank you all for tuning in this afternoon for our Facebook Live video on McCloskey Motors. We look forward to seeing you again soon. And if you're in Colorado Springs, make sure you stay dry out there, because we've had a whole lot of crazy wet weather the last few days. So happy spring. And as always, remember, 4,000 for your trade right here at McCloskey Motors. We'll talk to you soon.